Twitch or YouTube to watch from? I use YouTube.
Can you feel the love tonight?
I can.
And if they fall in love tonight, it can be assumed his carefree days. Shaking, everybody.
What's
Welcome
up?
back.
Welcome to the Grim Show,
The Grim Show.
where it's all grim all the time.
Oh, listen. Got weird stuff in the audience tonight, but that's okay.
So again, we're on the tubes.
The tubes.
We're on the Twitch.
Yes.
We're on the Only Dans. Covering all our bases. Welcome.
The only dance is after 9. But
Yeah. Wow, Only Dans runs all the time.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a 24-hour show.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of content.
Only Dan. What are we doing today?
We're going to talk about the Mandalorian season 3, episode 7. I may have said 8 in a couple of different
You may have said 6, you may have said 8.
But I'm trying, okay?
What do you feel? A little better than the last one?
Yes. Is that a question?
No, it's
that a
legit
serious question?
It's a serious question. You were a little bit upset almost.
I was irritated with the fact that they wasted time on
I was
nonsense.
honestly more irritated as the show went on because you kind of,
Yeah.
but
Well,
we're over that now.
we are.
And we're going to be talking about this episode, which was more fantastic.
Yes. It did, as I thought it would, feel a little rushed in some spaces, but
You're right. And I
overall.
feel as if the next
Overall.
one will be too.
I think so.
'Cause
So,
there's a
like, if
lot
you
to
would have
go.
done 3 episodes of this build up to finale, we probably would have been
We
fine.
need to learn from this.
Yes,
We need to learn from this.
please.
All right.
For
How do we
goodness
start this
sakes.
one off?
This one starts off in Coruscant.
Coruscant's
Everybody's favorite planet.
been a big thing lately.
Well, it
Yeah.
used to be the capital of the
Yeah,
the
I know, but then
Republic.
you don't hear about it for a while, and then all of a sudden it's the hot spot.
And it's no longer the capital of the Republic. So
So
the new Republic.
we start off in a dark alley like normal on the Nerdy Couch Show.
Yeah, that's or the only dance show.
Yeah.
Actually, so
With Ella Kane. Ella?
Ellie,
Elliot?
Elia,
Elia?
I don't
Elia.
think it's Elia.
All right. We all know how well I do names.
Yeah. I
She-
was reading some Blade Runner references to this, but I was thinking about it, and I don't think that I've ever seen Blade Runner, so I was like, oh, Blade Runner, eh? Maybe I have to watch this. I guess Creepy Alleys is a thing for Blade Runner.
So you want to make a reference to
Well,
a series that
let
you
me know if you got Blade Runner vibes in the comments.
there's some Blade Runner-esque
Yeah?
vibes,
Is that right?
you know,
Did you watch Blade Runner?
a long time ago,
The
In a-
original Blade
in a-
Runner?
galaxy far away.
Oh,
I did.
okay.
But
So Blade Runner vibes, Elia Kane.
and she's meeting is it an Imperial drone?
It's a Imperial probe droid.
Probe. Oh, not Probe David.
No, sometimes my notes look awful, but
And then it has the classic red eye,
yes,
pink eye.
pink eye. Is that? I think the first time you see probe droids in live action is Hoth, but I could be wrong. But they're the ones that like crash into the planet at the rebel base,
Okay.
and then Luke and Han are out there scouting, and they like blast a couple.
Okay, so
Or
she's
Han
meeting
does
in a
anyway.
dark alley
Sorry.
to contact somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and again, it brings me back to this thing. She's meeting Moff Gideon. Moff Gideon?
Yeah, definitely Mop Gideon.
No, I said Moff.
I think you said
at
Mop.
the very least, Moff Gideon. He's a much more generous character.
I don't know how to say his name. The
Moff
actor's
Gideon.
name. No, the actor's name.
Gus.
No, that's not it. It's
No, he
like
plays a character
Giancarlo
named Gus.
Esposito.
Oh wow.
But
So they're meeting,
Yes.
And again, I have to come back to this, okay?
Okay.
You have one person that's got to meet in a dark alley
Mm-hmm.
and use an extremely large droid or cassette thing. And
Yeah.
then the guy on the other side is using one of those pucks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, go to the washroom and use a puck.
Well, maybe pucks are in short supply.
And I don't know. There is a good possibility that because she's in a program, like a rehabilitation program,
Yeah,
that she doesn't have access to
She's
stuff
not
like
allowed
that,
to have
right?
a puck.
You know, maybe she doesn't have the cellular coverage
Yeah.
on
Maybe
that
that's
thing.
a coverage issue. Maybe they're using for long range transmissions or something.
You know, also they could be tracking that signal, could they
Could be.
not? Right.
Yeah.
So I get it, right? But there's always like this big ass machine that one person's using, and then the other guy's like, boop.
Well, I don't know what to tell you about that. That's really nitpicky. I'm
Always.
sorry. I'm sorry that everybody doesn't just have a puck phone.
Get cell phones.
You're really ruining Moff Gideon's comeback moment with your rant.
My apologies.
Yeah. You should be sorry. So Moff Gideon shows up on the hologram, and I was super excited. I was hopeful that it was going to be him
Yeah, it's nice to see him back in the show.
because he plays an amazing character.
Although, I have my feelings, he's not going to be a character that sticks around for long.
No, I would assume by next episode.
I think by the end of this series,
yeah,
we're gonna see that come to an end, maybe.
I would think.
But again, we'll have to wait and see, and we'll get to that in a little bit. So you just play on your phone. That's fine.
I'm not playing on my phone. So yeah, we move over to a live shot of Moff Gideon, which I wasn't sure we would get right away, like that, and then, bang, we're there. He's hanging. And
Do we see him in the suit right then?
We get to see him in like a partial suit, like just the respirator piece and stuff like that. Presumably from his crash.
Yeah.
Just kind of keeping him alive. Very Darth Vader-esque.
Yeah, and that's by design.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
it's Imperial technology. They're the ones that built Vader. Blah blah blah.
We'll get to the suits later and stuff like that.
Suit.
I got some. That's a good topic, I think. But yeah, where are we going?
Where are we going? We're going to the Shadow Council. So we get into the Moff Gideon piece, and we have that walk down the hallway, and I was like fangirling because you see the like cloning tubes and stuff in the background as he's walking by.
Now, are those attempts for is it Snoke? Snoke? Are those Snoke attempts?
Potentially. Like well, it would be something to do with the resurrection of Palpatine and stuff that we get
which
later.
Is all
because this show is like a real tie-in kind of build up for those. I think they're trying to build the popularity of those that final trilogy that came out that wasn't
kind of tanked.
Yeah, it didn't feel great. And they're building up because Rey is getting her own movie or show or
like
something.
Franchise of some sort.
Just of the after. So it's her building a new Jedi Order and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I've heard, I think they just released at the Star Wars convention.
When we get into the conference room, okay, you're gonna have to kind of explain to me who some of these people might be.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna leave that to you because if I'm being honest, I was a little lost.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, you didn't like. It's because they're bringing back a lot of like Legends stuff that
I'm aware of that.
They're just trying to pull in some of these characters, especially around Thrawn, because Thrawn doesn't have a huge story beyond what they had
in Legends.
Rebels,
the
right?
the animated series. And honestly, it's excited to even hear his name.
Yeah.
Right, because we know this has been coming.
So yeah, the Shadow Council. You had Captain Pelion, which is like his Thrawn's second in command. So in the Legends stuff, he actually ends up moving up and becoming kind of the figurehead leader of the First Order. and kind of brokers a peace deal with the New Republic at one point. So it was a big deal that he was on there, and it
And
really foreshadows that
apparently,
Thrawn
like he
connection.
is like the canniness of him and the Legends character
Yeah.
is just spot on. Like
Yeah.
it's like these shows have got such a great casting and stuff. They really put a lot of thought into who they're casting, because
For
he's
sure.
spot on.
Yeah.
He's spot on.
It's a great character. I enjoyed him. He's like a really underhanded, like conniving planner, right? So I think he played his part
I feel like that's
super well.
kind of like a prerequisite for like Imperial generals.
Yeah, if you're gonna be a big boy in the Imperials, that's the kind of guy.
Because even like Moff's got his own
Mhm.
his own agenda, and they try to call him out for that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, because these are all like warlords that and the Shadow Council. Obviously, they're in the shadows still, and they don't want to become too recognized or too popular.
Yeah,
or
I really
throwing it
kind of
down.
like the idea of trying to stay under the radar,
Yeah.
right?
So long as it looks like they're just a bunch of different factions and not
they don't look like
collective.
we don't want to look like a threat.
Yeah,
That's how we build an underground army,
that's right.
right?
The other guy that was there, who's one of the people that's in charge of like Imperial training that Moff Gideon's trying to get to send reinforcements and stuff, is Brendel Hux. So that's the father of General Hux in the final trilogy.
Did you say General Hugs?
Yeah, Hugs, and Tugs is his brother. So General Hux.
General Hugs and General Tugs.
Yeah. The actor that played him, Brendel Huggs, is actually his brother, but playing his father. Isn't that fun? Sounds like the trailer park.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gonna be all right?
I'm not okay.
That would be a threatening character, I think.
General Hugs?
General Huggs in the Imperial Army.
You wouldn't want to mess with a General Hugs.
I feel like probably right up there with Captain Bombardier.
God, you just got to do it, don't you?
I do.
They've had some great names in Star Wars, okay?
I heard now, from an interview that Lizzo and Jack Black were just big fans of Star Wars, so that's why they put them in there. And I was like, well, I'm a big fan of Star Wars. Nobody calling me
I
up
don't
and
think
saying,
it's
"Hey."
so far-fetched that you would someday be in the Star Wars franchise.
Yeah? You think?
I have my hopes for you.
Next time they put out a casting call for
I'll do my best to
weird
throw
alien
your
guy
name in
that
there.
gets face rubbed by tentacles, I'm there.
That's your spot.
Yeah.
I don't see them doing it more than once.
No?
It's kind of
It can be like a return
a weird
to
moment is what it was.
just in the background. For
Yeah.
some reason that's happening.
I would love that. I'm willing to be the tentacle person.
Nice.
I will give you a tentacle kiss
Okay.
if it means being in the Star Wars universe canon.
Yeah, I'm in.
All right.
I would do just about anything to be in this. I would do a lot of things to be.
You
in
heard
Star
it, Disney. You heard it.
But yeah, back to the Shadow Council. There's a lot of like little fun pieces when they talk about Project Necromancer as well. Obviously, indicating that tie into the Palpatine thing too. So that was kind of cool.
And it's fun that they're still exploring that type deal.
Yeah. I'm glad that they're trying to like push up that trilogy. It wasn't great,
and keep the story alive there,
but
kind of,
yeah,
right?
making those tie-ins might make, if you rewatch it, even might make it feel a little better,
more genuine.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're talking, and they're not really. There's not a lot of hope. Captain Comics, how's it going, buddy?
Sneezed.
There's not a lot of support for Moff Gideon.
No.
Until he mentions the Mandalorian.
Right. That's scary. They're scary guys.
And Did you realize at the moment that he was on Mandalore?
No, you don't really.
You-
I didn't really get that sense. I thought it was some whatever moon base or something
Yeah,
somewhere.
right? But once you find that out, you really get the urgency of why he needed.
Yeah.
What are they? The 3 Red Hoods.
The Praetorians.
That's
They're like
what
elite,
I said.
elite guards. They're badass.
They are okay,
Vibro blades.
and I think they even look better now,
Yeah, they look dope.
right?
They look super cool.
I mean, again, we'll get to the suits
yeah.
because it's a big part of this. 3 of those wielding purple weapons now.
Yeah.
Okay, what's that all about?
I don't know, but it was reminiscent of if you've ever played
I haven't.
the Cal Kestis game.
No, I want to because there's a new one coming out.
Yeah.
And it looks fantastic, so I want to.
But there's like elite soldiers in that are kind of trying to chase him down, and they have those purple energy weapons too.
And
so.
they're kind of different than sabers type deal.
Yeah. Well, they're not
like-
Jedi. You can't.
No. Well,
Maybe just ripping.
I can't have a lightsaber if
No.
I'm not a Jedi.
No.
I am, by the way.
So, well then you know.
No issues
you
there.
should know.
All right.
Although there's always the question of Han Solo when he uses the lightsaber to rip open that the name is escaping me because
just go like this, right, and just open your mouth, and then Laura will put it in post credit.
when he uses the lightsaber to tear open the and save Luke's life.
I'm leaving it.
Oh, it's great.
It'll come to me at some point,
And then
I'm
you'll
just
just
gonna
blurt
shout
it out. Just blurt
but-
it out when it does, okay? Even if it's mid sentence. Okay.
Perfect.
Not important though, really.
No.
They look awesome, and he wants that, and he wants a fleet
Yeah.
of troopers.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. Which is just given to him after they
They're like, oh no,
realize that they're
Mandalorians.
But going
Bad
back to the alley scene, it's interesting that when Kane mentions the Mandalorians, he asks which ones,
Mhm.
which I think means something at some level, because this episode is called The Spies.
Right.
All right. Obviously, they're referring to her as a spy,
Right.
Right.
But also,
but it's pluralized.
right. And we have that Beskar that was in the ship that Moff Gideon was in
Yeah.
that was lodged
So-
in the wall. So
You're led to believe that possibly a Mandalorian has something to do with something.
and
okay?
that's fair because there were Mandalorians that maintained some loyalty to the Empire at one point too. So
There's Bo-Katan surrendered the Darksaber to Moff Gideon. Like
Yeah.
she had made a deal with him,
Mhm.
right? So I don't know if we should get to it now, but who your suspicions are,
I'm
right?
trying not to be suspicious.
Okay, there's some suspicion on the armorer.
Yeah.
Okay, especially when like she goes, "I'll go with you," and then there's some music that's like, dun dun dun. It didn't do that specifically, by the way, but I wish it had.
But close.
Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then she conveniently is not there when the ambush takes place. There's an ambush. Spoilers.
Did you spoiler alert?
All right.
Oh. So if you haven't gotten that since we've talked
Then we
about
spoiled it.
a large portion of the show already.
Yeah, but
Spoilers.
she's just not there.
Yeah.
She finds an excuse to not be there. It appears to be a noble excuse,
Yeah.
but
Hopefully.
I would like it not to be.
I would like it not to
All
be.
right. The other suspicion is, the guy with the cool-
Tauntaun.
Is it
Yeah,
that? Is that his
thanks.
name?
Thanks, Jess Bigris. But yeah, it was a tauntaun that he split open with.
Oh, I thought you were
no,
calling
with the
somebody a name. I thought
lightsaber.
Tauntaun. So did you look it up? You just knew?
I hope she knows. It's
Because
a
I'm
tauntaun.
gonna marry her.
Your tauntaun won't make it out past the third marker. It's gonna
All
freeze
right.
to death. No?
So
You're gonna marry her?
it took you a minute.
It did.
The other suspicion is possibly what's the guy who was leading?
Steve.
Yes,
No.
Steve.
Axe Woves.
Axe Woves
Yeah.
is the other suspicion.
That potential.
He is driving Moff Gideon's old ride.
Yeah.
Painted nicely with the symbol on the bottom.
Which is a great segue into the next portion of this after the Shadow Council when we get back to Navarro, that big flyover.
Yep.
I love that scene, by the way. Beautiful.
With the droid
Beautiful.
mislabeling the ship and everything and all that.
Yeah.
It was it was humorous. I'm sitting there with Monica, like laying in bed watching it, and she's like just cracking up at that scene where he's just like, no, actually, that's a whatever.
It's
and
an Imperial light cruiser.
They're friendly.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Well,
All
it's
right.
got a big mythosaur on the bottom.
How long did it take to paint that mythosaur on there?
I don't know. That's a lot of droid hours.
That's a lot of paint.
Yeah. Well, they like painting things, though. It's the armor.
You know?
Which I've always been confused about Din's just like letting his stay chrome. Just full chrome. But everybody else is like, oh, I'm going to paint my Beskar up.
He's the Mandalorian.
Yeah. Is he?
You know? So he's got to stand out.
It's just shiny.
All right?
He's not sneaking anywhere.
You know what I did notice is that, like, even Bo-Katan's has, like, some marks in it and stuff like that. And I'm going to call them the scavenger Mandalorians.
Yeah.
They've got some dings in it, stuff like that. And there was always the debate on why Steve's he only has a whole book written about him. Boba Fett's, why his had the ding in it from the originals,
right,
and stuff. And it all comes down to like purity of Beskar, right?
I would imagine. His is like straight Beskar. Also, some of those are like surface level, right? So you paint your stuff up.
Yep.
You can get dings in the paint easy enough.
But like, Beskar is a very rare material.
Yeah.
Right. And over time, quite a few of them, like a lot of times, they have very impure, and they have to replace parts as they get more pure parts, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just like the variation of stuff like that, right? Where you get to kind of see the battle wounds on some of these, and you get to realize that maybe, like, some of their outfits aren't as pure as Din's.
And Din's is just straight Beskar.
Straight up, right? You're like, it's just like to answer your question.
I don't even remember asking a question.
Your question was, why did he leave his?
Oh,
right.
Right.
When you have a nice, natural piece of wood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right?
you don't paint it; you just stain it.
You like to preserve that natural look, right? Maybe he's got a nice coat of varnish, and he's just left it at that.
Lacquered it up,
you know. So
maybe.
So we're at the flyover.
Cinematography
meant to be intimidating.
Yeah.
And you're
stunning.
You're absolutely right.
Stunning.
The cinematography.
It's beautiful.
It's absolutely beautiful. Okay. Menacing.
Yeah. You got the feels. I felt it.
What's next on your notes?
What? Just yell about my notes. So they land. We got the Children of the Watch and the Night Owls with the tension. Not sexual, but like
so this is when
physical aggression.
Why did you even assume it was sexual?
Well, you don't know. These guys haven't seen other Mandalorians in a while.
I noticed there's a lot more children now.
Yeah. Because they kind of hide the kids.
Yeah.
Is what Paz says to his son.
Don't even say Paz to me.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
All right.
It's okay. I'll hold you when we get there.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
Okay. But yeah, the tension is palpable. I enjoyed that scene of the two groups
where
coming.
they're kind of it's like a high school dance.
Yeah. It's like all the guys and all the ladies on the one sides.
Yeah.
There was a lot of S's. And then I was curious as to whether the night owls would take their helmets off as they were like kind of coming
Yes,
out,
and
and then they did.
then there was almost, without having like any visual expressions,
Yeah,
you could sense the looks that were being given.
yeah, yeah,
Right. But like they're all kind of like one side and one side, and then Bo speaks up, and it doesn't feel like she's getting through at first.
no,
Right. I- Another thing to note is that when she gets off that ship, the first thing anyone sees is that dark saber hanging off of her, and that has to be noticeable by anybody standing there, right?
yeah,
And it's a symbol of leadership, right?
yeah. And the last they saw it, it was hanging with Din. So
Yeah.
it was a dope scene. It was really good, well put together. Like this episode felt so much better than the last one.
It felt like there was some meat to it.
Yeah. And a lot more of the symbolism and stuff that you're expecting from Star Wars, I think.
Yeah, like the last episode, a lot of that got tarnished.
Yeah.
Right?
And I mean, it's not like Star Wars hasn't done
I didn't not enjoy
like
it.
some
I'm just
campy,
saying.
silly things like dropping C-3PO's head on the top of a battle droid and having him walking
Yeah.
around blasting stuff. But
Jar Jar Binks.
okay, if you're gonna bring up like one of the most hated characters in all of Star Wars, then
I like Jar Jar.
I don't.
You know?
Unless it turns out at some point
Me so
that
like
he
Jar Jar.
was a Sith Lord, and then I can't.
Me so like Jar Jar.
Okay,
All right.
thanks. Jesus. We kick over to the Din Djarin and Grogu going to visit Grief Karga,
Where something
which is
amazing
and
happens.
again, funny, campy, silly, great though.
But campy in a great way.
Yeah.
Right? Well, first off, anytime that you've got Grogu doing something is just it's fan favorite, right?
Yeah.
And then you add in, which has to be fan favorite. Like one of the fan favorites is those little scamps.
The Anzellans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Um
It's right there somewhere.
it's in this pile of notes.
I really need to settle down on my notes, maybe. But
Those things are great. The guy's just getting out of this, which when you see IG-11 walk in, and I think people have been waiting for it, you got a little excited.
I got super excited.
All right. Your significant other had to calm you down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you were out of control.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
There were several points actually in this episode where I felt myself move to the edge of my chair, and then I had to like look over at Teresa and be like, "Oh, I'll just sit back again. I'm too excited."
And then it turns, and you see the little scamp inside of him. Okay. And you're like, "What is going on?" All right, and then you realize he's controlling him.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if I like the fact that he's now 12.
Well, because he's an upgraded, newer
I
model.
don't know.
He's like a piloted thing.
You're taking the soul from him. I mean, it's gone. It's gone anyway, right?
Yeah. Don't forget, you can find us on Instagram, because that's where we like to be as well.
A dead. Oh yeah, okay. I'm reading back.
Wow. Don't read those. I got it.
Unalived, I meant.
Oh. An unalive tauntaun.
So the little scamp gets out, and he just going like doo 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 doo.
Yeah. See, it was a fun scene again. And then the argument between Grief and Din about putting Grogu into it. He's too young.
I had to play this back actually, this whole scene.
Yeah.
Because it was good. It was that good.
Yeah.
And when the little guy avoids and kind of tries to go around Grogu, and he's going, "No squeezy."
Yeah. Yeah. He doesn't want the big hugs.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like, hey, I don't feel like he's old enough. Oh well, let's just see if he fits. right? And then when he just walks around hitting yes and no,
Yeah.
I mean, like, he's got a voice now.
Yeah. So we have some great communication and a like full-sized working body for him too,
Yeah.
which I think is going to be cool for his character development as we go to.
So
Unless it gets wrecked. I
right
guess.
before they cut off that scene, Monica goes, "That would get annoying," and then they cut there, and he's like, "Yes, yes, 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 yes,
Yeah.
yes, 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 yes." All right.
Yeah.
And Din is obviously getting
Yeah.
quite annoyed with it, right?
Any parent watching this portion of the episode ever of a young child, just it hits you right in the feels. Really just digs in deep.
Yeah, understand it.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Because
Yes.
yes. Yes. Because I feel like I related more to the child.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
Because I'm the guy who goes to Walmart and presses every one of the toys that make noises so that they all make noises for a half hour.
Yeah. That's great. You're my favorite.
I'm sure I'm everyone's favorite there.
But the walking back in the little market scene was great too.
Yeah.
Pretty funny. He's grabbing things now because he can. Because, he wants to eat everything.
Oh, yeah, he just steals a bunch of stuff and puts it there. He starts eating. Fiascos go on beyond the scenes. All that stuff.
Yeah.
He's being told by Din, "You can't do that." He's playing keep away.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm taller than you now.
Yeah.
Just crushes things and stuff like that, and then carries on, right? And he's just like, "I don't think this is gonna work."
Crushes the fruit.
Yeah. He's like, "I don't think this is gonna work."
Din's just paying money.
Just there goes all his bounty, right?
Yeah. It was fun and silly.
But
and
in
it
a
was
good way.
Yeah,
In a
it was
good way.
It was a good space. But yeah, they head back and they have that roasting. What was that was roasting?
I tried to think about it what it was, and I thought maybe it was one of those aerodactyl things, but there was no wings on it, and
Well, it kind of looked birdish.
it did
though.
look birdish. So
I'm hoping they didn't eat those like baby.
Oh no!
They're like
Where did those
roast that
go?
up. I don't know.
They were the younglings.
Delicious younglings.
You genuinely made me sad there for a minute.
Sorry, buddy. But yeah, I don't know what they were. So they're
'Cause
having the big
It
feast.
definitely wasn't a full-sized aerodactyl thing.
No, but it could have been a small one.
Oh, those damn Mandalorians.
You got to eat, man.
You know?
But yeah, so that scene, we get to
The big portion
Bo's
of the meeting.
big speech, which I enjoyed.
And they give you the proper amount of suspense where you don't, somebody's gonna stand up.
Especially Din's gonna stand. Because it's gotta.
But they give you that false sense of, hey, nobody's gonna stand up and she's gonna stand there looking like a meathead.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden people start standing up. As well as, and I wish he didn't. Wish he didn't go.
Who is it?
The big guy.
What's his name?
Machine Gun.
Machine Gun Kelly?
Yeah.
Paz
Machine Gun Paz.
Vizsla.
Okay, Paz Vizsla has slowly become a favorite for me.
For sure.
But
But not Axe Woves.
Axe Woves doesn't hit hard for me.
Well, it's a good name.
Axe Woves is a good name and a little easier to remember. I need it to be like Pez.
Pez Vizsla.
Pez Vizsla.
Great. That's great.
He's turned into a badass character,
Yeah, he is.
right? And that scene that's coming up is still a badass scene,
That's fair.
right?
Sad.
But most notably, again, the armorer steps up.
yeah,
Dun dun dun.
which was interesting.
All right.
I don't want her to be the spy.
I don't want to either, and I'm having trouble figuring out what sort of time she would have to be of use and what it would how it would even benefit her. How would it benefit her?
I don't know. I don't
Right?
feel like it could. Like, because, someone like Axe Woves, if he's one of the spies, he gets to take control of the...
He seems like a better option,
Yeah.
although I don't want to take the easy option
No.
because it's never the easy option.
No.
But
Maybe it's Din Djarin.
he's a merc,
Yes.
and he's gonna do whatever makes him the most money,
Right.
right?
And that's kind of where those guys have been living, and they have their big ship and all that jam. So
Yeah, it kind of the pieces fall into place, but I have my feelings that that's what they want you to think. But at the
don't
same
like that.
time, I have my feelings that that's what they want you to think about the armor,
yeah,
right?
Emily Swallows. She has a great name.
General Swallows.
What? I don't think her name is. That's the.
I'm just saying, if you're gonna have a hugs and a tugs,
Sure. General Swallows. But yeah, we get some solid people standing in. But do they all take off then? Like, so the entirety of
I don't.
the two groups.
It feels as though there was a certain amount of Mandalorian that stayed back,
Do you think they stayed back, or did they all jump on the ship to wait?
and only so many went down
Yeah.
to scout. That's hard to say. I got the feeling that there was a certain amount staying back.
Maybe. I hope so.
Now,
Because shit's gonna just hit the fan.
if it were the armor being spy,
Yeah.
it would benefit her more to have everyone go
Right.
for an ambush.
Right.
Okay, which may or may not happen.
We don't know.
We don't want to spoil that.
No.
Um,
But Disney sent us the
the
finale already, so we know
Did
everything.
Disney
that
say it was
happens.
okay?
Yeah. No, they didn't say it was okay. We can't say anything about that.
All right. How's it going, Coco?
This is Coco Melon. It's Coco Melon.
You are a father.
What do you mean?
So,
I've actually never watched Coco Melon, to be fair.
to be fair.
So
When are we ever gonna get a To Be Fair logo?
I don't know. That's a great idea, though. I don't know if that came through on here, but the producer's super happy about it. She loves making
She
logos.
swore.
Yeah. She's like, oh, fuck yeah.
She swore. Fuck yeah.
What time is it? So anyway, we get to Mandalore, their little fleet, which was super exciting. The fact that the whole fleet's there, even though I know that it's not going to go great, but we're going to get an epic star battle with ships just going ham. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
no.
awesome.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, yeah, no. And
Yeah,
if you,
no, yeah.
yeah, no. If you didn't know we're Canadian, yeah, yeah, no.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good scene. How long? It's got to be a short one though, because there's no time left.
There's plenty of time now. I think with where this left off, because we're gonna get directly into the battle, basically. I think with the next episode. So I think we have a solid chunk of the next episode for star battle, ground battle.
Yeah,
and
you
what
are
goes on.
right. Unfortunately, so we drop down onto the planet.
Dropship scene when they're flying over.
Yep.
Loved it. Loved the opening up, and they're all seeing Mandalore maybe for the first time.
Yeah, a lot of
or
them are. I
for in a
didn't really
long
put that
time.
into perspective.
Yeah,
Yeah, and how terrible it is.
yeah, yeah.
Right. So we now know that there's a lot of species that have been woken including the mythosaur, which only has been told to the armorer,
Yeah.
I think, and several things like Godzilla.
Yeah, that thing was huge.
Huge.
Huge. But yeah, the drop ship, they drop down. Cool scene regardless. The superhero landing jam where they dropped in like as a
Yeah.
posse.
That's the thing about Mandalorians is how tactical they feel.
Yeah.
And it's just great.
It was such a tight landing.
Yeah, tight.
Just so tight. It was good.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah. So they're moving along and they find that there is a Mad Max style ship coming at them.
That skiff was cool. Like, I enjoyed just the style of
It's
it.
just a salvaged ship, right? That they've made into a land, like a land
A skiff?
ship. A skip.
Skiff. Yeah. I think skiff's a good word for it.
All right.
No?
Nice primitive.
Just nod, audience, please. Just
we have
placate me.
kind of an audience.
We
today.
do, actually.
I mean, one of them wants to look at the computer more than anything. But,
Yeah. That's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Finally, the producer's got someone to talk to.
Yeah. She needs somebody. She's all alone.
She gets lonely sometimes over
Yeah.
there. We try to include her, but she's too good for us.
I think she said she's too busy. Oops, sorry, my fingers disappeared. She's too busy.
What is he doing with his fingers? What?
But yeah,
And
the skiff rolled.
they don't know exactly what they're getting into.
No.
And then
Is that the voice of Lady Bo-Katan? Which I thought was a cool line.
yeah.
By he's one of the stars. I can't remember his name, and I don't know if I have it on my notes.
Well, then skip it.
But
Skip it good.
he's from I think Days of Our Lives. Yeah. One of them guys.
That's the reference you're gonna give, eh?
Yeah. Days of Our Lives. And the other guy
Unfortunately, I know a lot about Days of Our Lives. My
Do you?
grandma and my mom used to watch it all the time. I hope Victor's doing okay.
I think he's really old at this point.
Yeah.
But last I
He
saw
died
it, he was on.
He died 100 times.
Yeah.
Over
Well,
and
he
over.
always comes back. But last I saw Days of Our Lives, he was back. He was there. And the other
Nerd.
dude, the kind of second in
Friggin'
command of the
Nerd.
the second in command of the I don't know, glass pirates, I'm gonna call them.
The
'cause it's
Glass
all-
Pirates.
Yeah. Is Skinny Pete from
Yeah.
Breaking Bad, is it?
Yep.
Which
Which is a big difference for roles.
Yeah, I would think so. I've never seen Breaking Bad.
You're an idiot.
Um,
You have to watch Breaking Bad. It's a good show.
apparently, yeah. I've heard a ton of great things about Breaking Bad, and it's one of those things that sits on my list of things to watch, and I just
Yeah.
haven't gotten there. But I will. I
Too
will.
busy watching The Days of Our Lives.
Obviously. Victor. You son of a bitch. But yeah, we get some great scenes on the skiff because they kind
the
of
scene of them jetpacking it off of the ship
yeah
is just it's just a perfect like
and an
entrance for
incredible waste of fuel because we know that they
Yeah.
have a limited supply.
Yes, incredible. And especially as far as we know on a fairly uninhabited
Yeah,
planet,
yeah.
where are they getting the fuel?
Oh, by the way, just to kick back, I loved Axwove's line before they dropped when Paz was talking about the planet and stuff, and he said I was here.
Yeah.
Like this is where I was when that happened. So
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was showing a lot about his character.
Mm-hmm. And then as we sit on the ship and they have dinner and stuff like that, and Bo's story comes out
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
great character building for her.
I feel like they've been building her character like through this season.
Yeah,
Wonderfully.
yeah,
She's become a much more fleshed out character.
Yeah.
And making her a more popular character all around.
and even after that scene where she's telling her story and saying, I surrendered to the Empire, like to try and spare the planet and stuff.
And then she got screwed.
Obviously, because it's all glass. The portion after where Din comes out when she's standing at the rail and kind of like pledges allegiance to her basically and calls her Lady Bo-Katan.
Yeah, that was almost like a throw to the left there. Like it was. I don't know if that's a term, by the way.
It is now. It's a great term, actually. I really like that. It was a throw to the left.
It sounded good.
I'm writing that down right now.
I hope you do. It was really a throw to the left.
Mm-hmm.
Because Mando or Din. Okay, I don't want to say Mando as a,
Well, they're all Mandos.
Because we're talking about a lot of Mandos here. But even the great whatever
Kazoo.
The great Kazoo.
Mm-hmm.
On what's the face planet that he runs?
I don't know what you're talking about.
If you can't get through my cryptic,
I have no idea.
If you can't get through my cryptic talk, the
Collector.
Not the Collector.
Oh.
I think that's the wrong franchise. All right.
Who?
I'm talking about
the
Grand Magistry guy.
Grief Karga?
Grief Karga.
Oh my god, I would have never guessed that.
You can't read my cryptic?
From the great leader guy, the Grand
Monastery.
Okay.
He refers to him as Mando.
Yes.
Right?
I don't know.
A bunch of Mandalorians. In a group of a bunch of Mandalorians.
Do we ever...
He's often referred to as Mando.
See him refer to any of the other Mandos at all?
I don't know.
Because I don't think so.
Like, as a group, he did.
Yeah.
But
he's never...
Not...
Just been like, hey, Mando.
He's kind of afraid to talk to the rest of them.
Maybe.
As far as Mandalorians go, he's a little bit more down to earth.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Other than his cult thing that he's got going on.
Yeah, but I mean, they all have that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he definitely pledges allegiance
to Lady Bo-Katan. And
his words were very strong.
Yeah.
Saying like that saber doesn't mean anything to me or my people.
Right.
We value, other things.
Like your personality.
Like your person. Yeah, we like somebody with a little bit of style.
Yeah.
It's pretty much what he said.
I think he's in love with her personally.
There is some
I think there's maybe
crudely drawn fan art about it.
Oh. I don't know if I need to dive that deep, but would he...
He's still got his helmet on.
Yeah, I would imagine. Sorry. But she can take hers off.
Not that I searched for that.
Okay. Anyway, that was a great scene. The whole skiff scene, I love the survivors and the way that they look.
How they mention you get a little bit of something from everybody by like, hey, we escaped here. We never left.
Right. Yeah.
We survived here. And then, are the Death Watch still a thing?
Yeah. Well, and they are.
Which she says the Death Watch are no longer. Right.
I guess technically the Death Watch are no longer, unless the Death Watch are whatever Mandalorians maintain loyalty to the Empire. Although they could also be, I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities around.
Is something in there kind of cryptic as well? If she's a spy, and turns out to be a spy, then there could be something cryptic there, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that whole scene is kind of cool. They decide. What are you doing?
I'm just slowly pointing at my notes.
You can't do that with your eyes?
No, because I like that note.
Why don't you give it a wink and a gun?
I like that note.
Well, why don't you just say it then?
It says Paz versus Axe and then it says
Yes.
round 1.
Okay, so I wanted to talk
Fight.
to you. Actually, I like that note too, and I'm glad you pointed
Yeah.
it out. I didn't see it there.
Yeah. Thank you.
But I want to point to it as well.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
There it is.
Yeah.
Quick little question. I want some thing to be explained to me.
I will try.
Okay. You shouldn't have too much difficulty with this one, I don't think.
Okay.
Because I don't know a lot about the history of the Mandalorian, because a lot of it is outside of the movie realm.
Right.
Right. Their blades that they use
Yes.
that vibrate.
Those are vibro blades.
The vibro blade.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the purpose and effect of that?
It's just a blade that vibrates. Actually, you could like.
Well, thank you.
You can.
I knew you had.
It's
this
not
one.
just the Mandalorians either. Like vibro blades were probably a bigger thing in a more civilized time. As
So that's like our equivalent of like the turkey knife that
kinda actually, yeah.
that
Now that I'm
the motorized turkey knife.
yeah, the carver.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. But also I believe it can be utilized as a defense against even lightsabers and stuff because it's an energy weapon in the way that it vibrates.
Okay. So it's actually creating some sort of a force. Not the force.
Not the force, but yes.
All right. It almost looks like it's meant to phase through something is what it looks like.
Well, yeah, I guess
Okay.
high vibration can kind of phase through, as we know with
Like the
Barry Allen.
Flash.
Yes. I'm glad we both went there. That makes
But
me
in a
happy.
different manner
Yeah.
too.
Mhm.
Right? It's like
That's cool.
non-scripted.
We don't write this stuff down. We write
Well,
some
you
things
do.
down, but not that stuff.
All right. Yeah, I was just curious about the blade and its origins and stuff like that. Right?
I don't know that I know a lot about its origins per se, but
Origins.
I definitely was a portion of like the Knights of the Old Republic and stuff like that.
They're cool looking. It's
Thanks
all
for
catered.
joining us, Torsten. Best Star Wars talk show I've seen on Twitch in ages. Great work, guys. Thank you
Thank you very much. That means a lot.
Heck, that's
I hope you're
great.
real.
I hope you're a real person.
Because nobody real has ever said something nice to me.
No, that's fair. I say mean things to you consistently.
I called you fat once.
That's that they are real. I don't know if it's like I'm sorry. I almost said he. I don't
Thank
want to
you very
assume.
much for first for being real.
Yes.
Second for the comment and
Yeah.
welcome to the show.
Yeah. All of those things.
We do appreciate you.
But yeah, where were we? Oh, Vibroblade. Thanks, audience.
Vibro blade.
Just yells out Vibroblade.
I
Paz
hope
versus
one day I'll
Axe.
be in Walmart and I'm just gonna hear Jess go, Vibroblade.
So yeah, Paz versus Axe, round 1.
We
Fight.
do have fun.
When I wrote that note, it was before the end of this episode.
So what note are you referring to again?
Paz versus Axe, round 1 fight. And the reason that I wrote round 1.
Can you just write ... sad?
Yeah, I probably should, because when we get to the end there, it becomes sad.
But that fight was good, and it was almost necessary
Yeah.
for the two groups,
Yeah. Yeah.
because and Bo
I think
was
Bo even mentions it, right?
Bo says that was bound to happen,
Yeah.
right? But our little guy in his big suit steps in. And first off, Pez was Paz was kicking butt.
Yes. Yeah, it felt like he had the upper hand.
All right?
in this.
I was like, don't do that. That's a big boy.
He's a big boy.
He's thick.
Mhm.
He's a thick boy.
A thick boy.
All right. Yeah, he had it, I think, in the long run.
Maybe. I don't know.
I'd like to think so, because I was getting fond of him.
Right.
Okay. Which made things hard for me.
We'll get there. We'll get
Okay.
there.
But then little Grogu steps in with his Did I say Goku or a mixture of Grogu?
A little of both.
That was
Yeah.
Goku and Grogu put together.
So
That's the Super Saiyan Grogu.
Grogu throws a wicked Kamehameha, and the fighting stops. Stupid.
What do you expect from me?
Grogu jumps in there.
Is it hard to say Grogu now?
It is actually, and hits the no button.
Yeah,
No,
and it was sweet.
it was. I liked it, and then even panning over to Din and him mentioning the fact that like he didn't learn that from me, kind of thing.
Yeah,
And I don't know where he kind of got it, but one, we know he's a pretty empathetic kind of creature, just in
he
general.
had training from
Plus
Luke.
Jedi training and stuff like that.
Right.
Really, it's
You know,
beautiful.
And here's the thing: is that those two adult Mandalorians showed enough respect to Grogu.
Yeah.
To lay their beef to rest.
Beef.
You know,
Yes.
and you should always rest your beef.
Yeah, that's a cooking tip that a lot of people skip when they're making meats.
And beef in general. But
Yeah.
they gave him enough respect. They showed enough respect to
Yeah.
let things,
Lie.
rest.
Yeah.
Let things lie.
Mm-hmm.
Your term was better.
Yeah.
So a decision is made that the weak Mandalorian from what did you call them? The Glass Mandalorians?
The Glass Pirates. Yeah.
The Glass Pirates
Yeah.
of the Mandalorian. They are to be taken to the main ship.
Yeah, the ones that are all busted up.
And whoever is able
I will
can
go.
give us direction to help find. Well, they're not going to just help them find.
No.
The
They know
Great
where it
Forge.
is.
We're going to take you there.
Yeah.
We're going to take you there. And they do.
Yeah, they do.
But on the way,
I have when
see, I don't read your notes, so I skip a
that's
lot
good.
of them.
When I was writing my notes there too, I wrote Monster Attack, but then I was thinking about, did you ever see Chicken Attack? There's like a video and a song called
What?
Chicken Attack, and it just made me giggle.
What are you talking about?
Off topic, but it's like a ninja chicken, and this Asian man
This sounds relevant.
this Asian man carries out this chicken and starts singing a song to a ninja that showed up, and then says chicken attack, and then throws this chicken, and it turns into a chicken ninja that starts fighting the other ninja. And
I don't know what you're talking
I just
about,
really love that video.
but I need it in my life.
After the show,
I don't know if it could even be half as good as your description.
it's gonna be. Need to see Chicken Attack, man. Look it up. I'm telling you.
Have you-
Chicken Attack?
If you haven't seen Chicken Attack,
Hmm.
I want to do a review of it now.
I hope we do. We should. We'll
All
do it
right.
after
If
after
you-
the live.
If
We're
you
gonna
want-
watch Chicken Attack.
If you want to see a chicken review attack,
It's gonna be
a
great.
chicken review attack, a chicken attack review.
Yeah.
Let us know. Join us for that.
It's gonna be great. But
That's all I can think about now. Show's over.
sorry, sorry. Giant monster.
Yeah, they're on their way. Conveniently,
Mhm.
the armorer has left
Yes, back to the main ship.
back to the main ship, and they keep cutting back to her, like something's gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, and so also got to be partially a foreshadowing of the star battle, right? Like I think she's gonna fly out of this storm that's on Mandalore or above Mandalore right into
Into a battle.
yeah.
You get the sense that she's gonna be shot down. At the very least.
So that's even Is that worse? I think that's no, it's not worse. If she's a spy, I'm gonna be extra upset. But if she
Yeah.
gets shot down, I'm gonna be upset.
Um,
I love
So-
that character.
it is a great character, and
Yeah.
after the scene where she like busts ass with her hammer and stuff like that. What?
What?
Where she busted asses
With what?
with her hammer.
Okay. Just I'm not saying, I'm just saying. This is
Why can't you visualize her busting ass with her hammer?
this is a PG show, but yeah. Yeah.
They're on their way to the forge. Let's get over that,
'Kay.
okay, please. They're on their way to the forge,
And
and lo and behold, Godzilla shows up.
monster attack.
All right,
Yeah.
and that needs to be a video, like an audio clip. Destroys the ship. Everybody's got a bail.
That thing was big.
Okay, it's Godzilla. It's gotta be.
Oh god.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
Godzilla.
Godzilla.
Right.
They got a bail.
Yeah.
But because this is Star Wars,
Yeah.
they don't have to walk long
No.
because they're just conveniently
They're
they're right next to where they need to be.
yeah, they're like, "Oh, let's run into this cave right here."
Which happens to be the exact cave we need to run
Hey.
into.
Perfect.
Okay?
Yeah.
Absolutely convenient. Okay? So they're heading down there.
Yes.
They find the forge.
But it's gone
Ish.
cold.
It's not in great shape.
It's all busted.
Okay? Nobody's been maintaining this thing.
Well,
How dare-
because apparently everybody that goes down there never comes back, which they mentioned.
you don't. That's obviously not true.
Why isn't that not what?
I don't know. There's a base down there.
Well, that's I'm thinking why no one ever comes back when they wander down there. The Imperial's just shooting them off.
Yeah, so they're checking the forge out.
Mhm.
Some of them being a little bit melodramatic about it. Oh, they're like a little sad.
Well, obviously,
Okay,
they were there when the Great Forge was alive.
it was a glorious thing.
Don't
What a glorious sight.
poo-poo on their emotions.
Shoot poo poo on their remote. They don't have long to mope about it though,
No.
because
Beskar covered jump
Well-
soldiers are coming in.
well they assume they're like, hey, look at those Mandalorians coming.
hmm
Those ain't no Mandalorians.
Nope.
Mm-mm-mm.
I don't know how they know. How do they know?
She knew.
She knew.
She knew.
Jump troopers, I
Yeah.
believe.
And they look awesome.
They're really cool looking.
Okay.
But they are reminiscent of some of the faction that was loyal to the Empire too, which was
Yeah.
interesting.
But
to me.
you immediately get the sense that they are dressed like Mandalorian-esque.
Yeah.
Right? Is it they're on Mandalore, so it's gotta be pretty pure Beskar.
Well, yeah, presumably that like Moff Gideon had a big thing for Beskar, right? Like
Yeah.
that's what he was trying to do. So the base on Mandalore, he's obviously harvesting all the Beskar he can find.
So they take down the majority of them.
Mhm.
Bunch of them flee.
But you know what it was? It's a trap.
It's a trap.
Mhm. hmm
And it was.
It really was.
They take off after them.
By the way, where did Axe go?
That's the thing.
He just busts out. He's like taking off, flying through the hole, and we don't really see him again, right?
Where was he during the ambush?
So initially, they're at the Great Forge. He's there. He's like, I'm gonna go for help, kind of reinforcements
yeah.
jam. And then he takes off. They
notice
cover fire.
The break in the thing.
Yeah.
And he flies off.
Yeah.
Convenient. Very convenient.
And I mean, I'm not surprised that the stormtrooper guys or the jump troopers missed while he was flying away, but he got away.
He got off unscathed.
Unscathed.
They follow him in, and then they notice a bunch of bat hanging.
There was bats?
No, their ships hang like bats.
Like TIE
The
fighters?
TIE fighters.
They do kind of hang like bats.
Yeah. I don't know why you try to be all discreet about that.
Psst.
All right. I don't know why you do a cough or something. Right. They're thrown off by that. They walk in and they see this big base pretty much.
Yeah.
Full of TIE fighters and
really just Imperial looking base.
yeah.
All so black.
And you think at that point they're like, oh fuck.
You would think they'd be like, oh fuck. But they're not. Because
No.
Paz is there, first of
Yeah,
all.
Paz is there and he's always ready for a fight, right? So lots more troops come down. They're looking glorious.
Mm-hmm.
And then Moff Gideon.
But before Moff Gideon comes, Din is captured.
No,
Is he not? Is that after Moff Gideon drops in?
I think he's kind of fighting them off.
Yeah, but he
Because-
gets separated.
Yeah, no, he gets separated. The doors close.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's just him trying to bust caps.
Can we just go back and appreciate when Moff Gideon is walking through the corridors and the red laser doors
Yeah,
are coming down?
yeah,
Just very reminiscent of the scenes in where
yes.
um
Qui-Gon and,
Yeah.
and Darth Maul.
so
and-
it's those sort of things that really those details.
So things like that, plus things like the armorer's helmet, plus talking about Death Watch so much, plus when Moff Gideon comes in with the horns on his helmet and the same kind of coloring as Darth Maul,
Mm-hmm.
just I'm trying to figure out why they're showing so much of this Darth
Why are
Maul
they pushing that?
jam on me.
Because they have to foreshadow.
Are you gonna foreshadow Darth Maul though? It's a weird foreshadowing.
I know, but like, I think the horns, Mr. Masters.
Sorry, I'm uber late, you beauties. Hey, if you're joining us, that makes us happy.
You know.
Thanks for coming.
You know what? Your presence makes everything better. All right.
Well, I don't know.
You know that.
Sure,
Just how handsome he is.
that's fair.
It oozes through the screen all over us.
That's a lot of ooze on us. But
Yeah, I don't know what they're going for there. It all has to mean something.
right?
You
Like
would
it feels
hope.
like it
You would
should.
hope, right? Have they ever done it to us before and nothing and not paid out on it?
Yes.
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 If you go
So-
back to the Solo movie and you have all this foreshadowing of Red Dawn and Kira and all of these things, and they never revisited it just because the Solo movie itself wasn't like
it didn't.
a box office hit, but you have all that unwrung storyline. It irritates me.
Unwrung. You are a wordsmith, my friend.
Just ring it out on me. Please.
You're
I
like
need it.
surgical with that
I
shit.
need it.
All right. Yeah, it's got. I hope it pans out to something,
Something.
right?
Give me something.
Because they keep they'll flash to Moff with the horns on it, then they'll flash to the armorer
Mhm.
with the horns on it,
Yeah.
and stuff, and it all looks so menacing and
Mhm.
and like it's got to lead to something. And then if it's all just poo poo,
Poo poo.
what's that?
It's a big pile. That's what it is.
So it can't be. They can't afford to do that right now. I
No.
don't think. Right.
No.
And when Moff comes down looking glorious.
I loved his look.
All right.
And
I love
it's-
his character, honestly.
Yeah. He's a great actor in anything that
And
I've
in
seen
a lot
him-
of stuff you haven't seen.
in a lot of stuff I haven't seen and some stuff I have seen. And plays an amazing bad guy.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, he's a bad guy in just about everything.
is he?
Yeah.
What was he? He was in some weird show that I was watching that kind of got strange with like telekinesis and stuff.
I'm watching a show
can't
right now
watch
that's
that.
getting real weird, but I'm too far in.
I thought I was too far into that other show, and then I realized that I wasn't.
There's some cannibalism now.
Okay, well,
It's called Yellow Jackets.
I was just gonna say, is it Yellow Jackets? Because I feel like I need to watch Yellow Jackets.
It's good enough to watch, but then at one point or another you'll go, fucking weird. But
I watched what's that? Lord of the Flies. So
yeah.
it gets weird too. So
This is not as weird though. This is Star Wars. Well, it's weird because it's Star Wars.
Star Wars is weird. Gideon's armor.
Gideon's armor is awesome.
Loved it.
Looks great. It has that reminiscent of a Vader-esque. Maul-esque.
Those Super Troopers.
They look...
It's not reminiscent of Super Trooper because
no.
But it's a weird
but
movie.
the white troopers there, I don't want to call them the white troopers.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's call them the jump troopers.
Okay,
or something.
the jump troopers. And the first thing you notice to them, right, is because I'm thinking to myself, right before they came out, I'm like, I remember that conversation that we had where you don't really see a lot of people using the jetpacks.
Yeah.
And then all these guys come out with jetpacks, and they're not
Just bombing
Mandalorians.
around. Yeah.
Right? And it's like, that's where you get the sense that they're using that Mandalorian technology.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
And then again, more foreshadowing to the final trilogy there.
Yeah.
Where there were those jump troopers that were following him around on the planet and stuff.
So Moff is giving his he's doing the classic, I'm gonna tell you everything about my plan.
Villain monologue.
Right. So far the only thing that's different about that is that he's got his shit locked down apparently.
Yeah. Well, and he's already got Din.
Yeah. So yeah,
show's
this is
over,
where they
bud.
say, "Hey, we're gonna take Din, and we're gonna interrogate him.
Yeah.
Take him to the interrogation room. We'll put a plate of cookies in front of him, and tell him he can't have any unless he talks."
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And then we will take him away, and now we're gonna tell you guys the rest of the story. Okay.
Right.
Where we explain how, and this is brilliant actually. It's absolutely awesome how he's trying to take something from every bit of the culture, the Jedis, the Mandalorians. He's just taking it all. He's putting it together and just be like he's a visionary.
He really is.
He's like, look, you guys are thinking on a small scale. I'm gonna take everything I learned from each of these groups, and I'm gonna put it all together and just make super soldiers.
Yeah. That the Mandalorians will live on through me line was just the icing
what
on
a
the cake.
big head, eh?
Right? Yeah.
God, what a great character.
Such a good character.
Right.
I'm honestly upset to see such a good villain go.
Yeah. Essentially the point is to eradicate the rest of them.
Yeah.
Why does he need Din so bad?
Because he hates him?
So there's a special fate for Din?
I think so. I think he just want to Rex him up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he wants the saber back.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, look, give me the saber. Does he even plead? Does he make a deal?
I don't think so. I
'Cause
think he pretty much just says,
point-
like, yo, give
I
me
think
that.
at this point, nobody's making a deal with you.
No. You're trapped in there.
Right? But she gives the go. You know, Bo gives the go.
Bo knows
All right.
when to
And
go.
fight. I'm going to spend some time and cut a hole in the door.
Classic, by the way.
Classic Star Wars.
Classic use of a saber. Just gonna cut a hole.
And what I like about it is that she's using the saber for the first time, pretty much, in her
as the owner
of this blade, and the first time she uses it not to as an attack, but as
Mhm.
a method of saving her people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Great
There's-
symbolism.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect. You know, cut a smaller hole next time though. You can get out of there
I don't
quicker.
know. That was
It was actually a pretty
was a
small hole.
reasonable.
It was a pretty small hole.
I like because most of the time they cut these massive.
Yeah, most of the time they like cut it right around the perimeter of the whole door.
Yeah. She cut like a little. We can
Right.
fit. And she
So-
was expecting Paz to come through with
Yeah,
her,
I
so
know,
she
but
needed a
Paz-
bigger hole.
That is a big, thick boy. All right, and not only that, but there's a lot of honor in that
Hmm.
man, and he is, you know,
So they're holding it off because he opened the door. Great fight scene there too. And she gets the hole open. Everybody's running through. It's just her and Paz left, and he's gonna cover.
there's too many of them.
And he rips up those jump troopers.
Okay, so when she leaves, and he shuts the door, right?
Yeah.
Because she's not gonna. She's of the character that she's not gonna leave him
Yeah.
behind, right? He has to forcibly separate them, and he starts ripping off.
I was gonna say like 2 res dogs, but I don't really think you would get. She's gotta like forcibly separate them, but that's just.
But I kind of get it.
Do you kind of get it?
Kind of get it.
Okay.
You know, it's not laying it completely flat with me.
Good. Good.
But he starts ripping it up with that freaking Gatling. Okay, and when it started to show red from like overuse and heat and stuff like that, I was just fucking like amazed. Right?
I love the fact that they showed the overheat on a laser weapon, because you don't really get to see that kind of thing a lot of the time in Star Wars.
Yeah. Because it's more reminiscent of something that has a physical,
Yeah.
you know, physical friction and stuff like that, right? But showing that and then showing it increasing to the point where it jams up and he's got to drop it and stuff like that, and then pulls out that, what was that again? The vibroblade?
Vibroblade.
The vibroblade comes in 7 different colors.
No.
It chops, it slices,
It does do those
it makes
things.
julienne fries.
I suppose you could.
You just hold it there.
Yeah, pulls out the vibroblade, still tearing it up, rips those jump troopers apart. And the fact that it took 3 Praetorian elite guard to take him down.
Okay, something that I wanted to mention before this, okay, is the style of fighting that the Mandos were doing.
Mhm.
It was interesting to me back before they were ambushed, even that a good portion of them knew exactly where to shoot and stab
Mhm.
because they were familiar with the Mandalorian armor,
Right.
and they know where the weak spots are, right?
Yeah.
The precision in the way that they were taking those guys down was just brilliant to me.
Mhm.
It showed how they instantly knew how to manipulate because they're the true owners of that style of armor.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And back to the present scene, it shows again when he's fighting these guys off in a glorious manner.
Ugh.
Like, this guy is just
tearing
he's
them
just
up.
plowing through them, and it's just like, and giving you the false hope
That he was gonna make
that
it out.
that he's
Yeah.
gonna make it out, and you're like, yeah, just don't do it. And then he takes them all down, and the red
Praetorians.
motherfuckers,
Yeah. Oh,
which look great, by the way.
they looked amazing. I loved
And they come out and they're very menacing, and they have that walk and stance to them that's very powerful,
Yeah,
right?
like they're looking at a dude that just took down dozens of guys. Like,
And they don't seem, they're not phased.
No. And those black weapons with that dark purple on the red,
Yeah, what a nice
Ugh.
design.
such great
Right.
looking characters.
And he holds his own with them even for
Yeah.
a little bit, right?
Yeah, if it was 1-on-1 with one Praetorian,
I think that he would have had it.
I think he could take it.
He could have held his own, and then little by little they start getting him in the weak spots, right?
And that shows again, like what you just said, those jump troopers don't have that same skill. But
Yeah.
these guys have that same kind of
knowledge and
knowledge and
skill.
skill.
Yeah. And then the final blow happens, and they get him right between the collar, and I'm like, oh, that one doesn't look like it's gonna heal.
No. No, I didn't like that.
And then he falls to the ground, and they just kind of let you look at it for a little bit, and I'm like,
and the abruptness that they just pull out.
yeah, no, without a care in the world, and then they just walk off.
Yeah.
Like, job done.
Yeah. Badass. And
You know,
sad.
It
And
was,
my note says, Paz, exclamation, question, sad face.
yeah, sad face indeed. And I think that they built this character up just enough to do this.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Like, they got me.
Yeah.
And I don't like it.
I didn't like it
All
either.
right, I feel like I'm watching Game of Thrones all over again.
Yeah. Just sad. Watching your favorites die.
Teardrop.
But the question then...
I'm not crying.
But the question then is, this Wednesday, who else? What's going to happen?
Let's talk about it.
What's going to happen?
So,
this is probably...
is that where this ends? Pretty much?
Pretty much.
It pretty much
I mean,
leaves you with a...
Armor is on her way out. We have Paz laying dead. Everybody else ran away. We've got Din captured.
Pretty much leaves you in a mood.
Oh, a foul mood.
You know, not
Foul.
like it's not like you're mad at the show
No, I yelled at
for
my
being
wife.
great,
Yelled at my
but
wife.
you're like,
No, I didn't.
I don't know how to feel anymore.
I was hurt.
So
Theories.
we don't theory time. We do not know how, but we have the feeling that Moff his days are numbered.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like he's going down.
Now, how do you think that's going to go down? You think it's going to be a Bo-Katan riding in on a mythosaur type of thing? You know?
I feel like the mythosaur... I don't know if it has to come up again. I don't think that the mythosaur has to come in.
It just has to be a motivation.
Yeah.
Right? As glorious as that would be.
Yeah.
Right?
I do think that it's going to be Bo-Katan that takes him out.
It would be kind of poetic.
Yeah.
Right? And almost a redemption.
With the Darksaber.
Yes.
Gotta be.
Her having the Darp Saber.
The Derp Saber.
The Derp Saber.
Mm-hmm.
We're creating the Derp Saber.
That's gonna be great.
All right.
It's gonna be weirdly flaccid.
It'll be like the weirdly flaccid, like the what was it?
Oh, the
Family Guy, was it?
Was it, or was it Spaceballs?
It was
With the
Spaceballs.
Schwartz?
It was Spaceballs. The Schwarps. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great movie, by the way. I think that's her symbol. It symbolizes her leadership well enough that that the mythosaur doesn't have to become part of this. And closing up that redemption story for her by her taking down Maul. Not Maul.
Why is Maul coming back? Is that what you're telling me?
I just spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Moff.
Yeah.
Her taking down Moff closes up that redemption story. Perfect ending.
Yeah.
To that character.
Yeah.
Sad because it's a great character.
Yeah.
But kind of necessary.
Right. And we're gonna get, Thrawn and Captain Play and
yeah.
these kinds of
That's gonna be
characters coming
that
up.
new arc.
Yeah.
Right? This has got to close up an arc.
Yeah.
And bring us to a new arc.
And they're setting up for that movie that they're gonna push together. Because they're doing one more season, I think, and then
and Thrawn
gonna close with a movie.
Is going to be an Ahsoka thing too, right?
Yeah.
So they're gonna have some character building there for Thrawn.
Yeah.
Right? I'm excited.
I am.
I'm excited. Ahsoka
super
should be
stoked.
great.
Should be.
Right?
Should be amazing.
As long as they don't have any goofy characters come in.
As long as goofy characters come in and it's appropriate and makes sense and doesn't waste time.
No,
Don't be ridiculous. Don't be ridiculous.
We're not new to shows wasting time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? There's been several great shows lately that could have used their time better right around the end of a season.
Yeah.
Right? It's that end of the season that feels like they got to rush a little bit to get things in, to close up stories.
Theory
time!
Grogu rescues Din somehow.
Grogu rescued Din somehow?
I'm feeling that. He's got a body.
To show his independence a little, almost.
Independence, like and still build that dedication father-son jam that they have going on.
And possibly some dedication to the Mandalorians themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
That would be enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't see Din as a character that would need rescuing, though. His fighting style is so great.
If he's in a starship,
I could see a situation where Din would run out of a little bit of luck.
He already did once in this season.
Yeah, I know, and he got saved.
Yeah. So instead of Bo-Katan, it's
I'm just saying
Grogu's doing the jam.
I
get you.
I was
funny.
making a little bit of a jokesies, okay?
So funny.
All right. We all know that Din survives off of luck and pure circumstances.
Yeah. Great character.
Great character. And Pascal is amazing. So
that's fair.
Yeah, in everything.
He's North America's sweetheart.
So great guy, great sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
Hot bod.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Do you have any other
good-looking guy?
Any other theories on?
No, I
next episode
tapped.
Yeah.
So
okay.
We say we close this up real quick. Well, we don't have to do it quick.
It's banana time.
Do we? Oh yeah, I suppose we can.
Yeah.
So banana time, if you don't know, is how we rate our stuff.
And some of you might be saying they rate in a banana scale. That's bananas.
That is bananas.
But
right? That's not planned. So we do use a banana scale. It's completely absurd. You're right. It is completely absurd.
It's still a 1 to 10 scale, like all scales for ratings. But bananas are fun. So.
Yeah, I don't know how far we can push the banana, but we're gonna push it to.
That sounds awkward.
Up to I would say, because we rated around a 6.
Yeah, it was
on the last one.
last.
That was a rough banana rating.
Mm-hmm.
This one's pulled it back up.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
I'm not gonna be all the way up.
I'm not going. Like, there was a time where I was throwing 10s out there.
Yeah.
And I need to reel myself back.
Yeah.
I'm pulling this back up to an 8.
Yeah. That's fair.
I think I'm pulling this back up to an 8 with some room
for the finale.
I think at an 8, there's room to go down and up.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Down and up.
Mm-hmm.
On your banana.
That's accurate.
How do you feel?
I wasn't gonna pull it up as high as an 8. But I was.
Like an 8 was unrealistic?
No. It's reasonable. It's reasonable.
I've always been more lenient.
And maybe I'm a little more tainted from the last episode than you were, because I was tainted coming in.
You
when
were,
we did our show.
and the last episode I was more okay with until we talked, and then I got a little less okay with, but I was still more okay with it than you.
Yeah. So I'll pull up to a 7.5.
That's fair.
And that, gives a lot of room for growth. If the finale,
banana growth.
If the finale is an absolute banger,
if it's a bombshell,
if it's just throwing proton torpedoes all over, then I could roll back up into that 9-10 range.
9.5 to a 10.
Sure.
9,
could
5,
happen.
10.
But give me a finale, which was one of those problems that we had with The Last of Us when we did The Last of Us. The finale didn't feel like a finale, and I want this to feel like a finale.
Yeah. Let's leave it there.
Yeah.
with excitement for the last
I'm so
episode.
excited.
And then join us for that next week on YouTube and Twitch. Also check out our other social medias,
Like Instagram.
which is our other social media pretty
That's
much.
it.
And maybe some Facebooks, but we don't do much.
We have a Facebook group. Join it.
All right.
You'll see lots of random
Links will be in
crap.
the description.
Yeah.
Other than that,
Until then,
I don't know what to say, but
like, subscribe, notification
Share.
buttons, share, whatever
All
is
that
on those
stuff-
platforms.
all
Do
that
those
stuff
things.
that you do.
And for those of you commenting, keep doing that. I love
Yeah,
it.
we really appreciate it. Make sure you give us a chat, ask us questions on the after thing, after, you know what I mean.
He's talking about. Anyway,
Take care.
bye.
Thank you
Peace.
very much. Peace out.
Love you guys. That's a peach again. Can you stop? I don't even know what that is.